Iowa rowing clubs are wrapping up practices and races this time of year. Fall often provides great conditions in terms of both the weather and the river for the annual Head of the Des Moines Regatta through our scenic capital city.
The regatta is a chance to compete, as well as showcase rowing to spectators. And for those who want to get on the water and try rowing themselves, Iowa is home to many rowing clubs that teach and promote the sport throughout the year.
Every September, rowers from across Iowa and just about every neighboring state gather in Des Moines for the Head of the Des Moines Regatta. The regatta has been a staple for more than 30 years, although rowing races have happened regularly on the Des Moines River since the late 1800s.
We're one of the longest running regattas in the Midwest and maybe even in the country. And we also have the longest course of any head races in the Midwest.
The Head of the Des Moines is about 3 miles long, testing the physical and mental endurance of rowers. Aside from major flooding events, the Saylorville Dam usually keeps the Des Moines River at an ideal level and condition for rowing.
We just have a beautiful river here in Des Moines, a nice curvy river, but not too curvy, and beautiful bridges to row under.
They kind of compare it to the Head of the Charles, because that's another very curvy course. So a lot of the rivers that people race on are much straighter.
Go!
The parade of colorful boats, oars, and uniforms continues upstream for hours. Several clubs in Iowa participate, as well as collegiate programs from the University of Iowa and Drake. Most clubs and teams have unique colors or symbols on their oars to distinguish themselves.
Sweep rowing is what you traditionally see at the Olympics with 8s and 4s. So you have a cox who's sort of bringing the crew all together and motivating them, and then you have people 1 through 8 or 1 through 4, and they each have a long oar. And so the goal is to be moving together as one. And then you have sculling, which is where you have 1 oar in each hand. It's a shorter oar, and you have singles, doubles, and quads.
The Des Moines Rowing Club hosts the regatta. Its 200 members include novice rowers and experienced masters. Rowing is a great sport for people of all ages and all physical abilities.
At age 60, I was looking for another mode of exercise, having had both hips replaced. So I looked at rowing and realized it was strength, power, speed, finesse, outdoors, sun, wind, water, competitive and recreational, and I like all of those. So I came to rowing.
And once you get it down, it's a fairly low impact sport because it's the gliding motion of it. You're not jarring on your knees or your ankles, and you can adjust. So we have 2 adaptive rowers that don't even use their legs. And so that's kind of the beauty of it, is you can adjust it for your ability level.
At the Head of the Des Moines Regatta, the sport is on display to some spectators for the first time. Experienced rowers make it look easy.
When you watch the boat, you just think it's all arms and body because the legs are below. But it's all legs, very little arms and body. And so that's what's really the hardest when you're teaching somebody new, is they don't realize that it's in the legs, especially the men's tend to do a lot more muscles with it, a lot more arms.
The power is really from the legs and driven from the legs. So it's a great sport for women because no matter how strong the guy is, I can walk farther on my legs than he can walk on his hands.
Many clubs, including the Des Moines Rowing Club, offer a Learn to Row program every year to help bring in people who are interested in the sport and to teach newcomers how to row.
We'll accommodate whatever the interest du jour is. If I want to be more competitive, I can find a group of people who will do that. If I want to go bird watching, there's a group of people who will do that, who will stop the boat to watch the egrets go by or the eagles catch breakfast.
The Hawkeye Community Rowing Program in Iowa City started with fewer than 10 members. Now there are more than 80, from middle schoolers to retirees. At sunrise on a crisp fall Sunday morning, several rowers, some having recently competed at the Head of the Des Moines Regatta, got into boats for an early morning practice.
Right pressure. 1 more. Good, even.
I started rowing with the program in June, and that was my first experience. I did a Learn to Row in May, so I've been doing it, 3-4 months now. I really like it. It's a great workout, a great camaraderie. It's a great team building sport. It's a lot different than I thought it was going to be, but it's good.
Good, so no breaking of the wrist at the finish. You can look down at it.
Coach Danelle Stipes knows it's all about technique. She's beloved by her rowers for her knowledge and supportive approach.
Square those blades up, find the water.
So my job, as I see it, is to blend all of those people. So whenever we're going out to practice, I'm picking one thing that I can just make everybody look the same and learn about the sport of rowing with. And then I pick out the groups of people, like our more competitive group. They'll work more on power and really executing a strong stroke. Our more recreational rowers or our newer rowers who are in that level, I work more on just the technique of the sport and just really enjoying what it feels like to get out and move the boat.
It's just a lot of fun, and this is a great group. It's very low pressure. It's like if you want to race and you want to be very serious about it, you can, but if you don't want to, that's fine too, and I really like that.
The 8-person boats are 60 feet long and weigh about 300 pounds. Everybody has to be in sync to move the boat along the water smoothly.
It's good exercise. I mean, it's low impact. It's very good in that way, but there's also a really good group atmosphere. I mean, it's an individual. There's very much individual skills, but it's a very good team dynamic.
My coach has said it's like the ultimate team sport because you've got your teammates there and you have to do exactly what the person in front of you is doing. You have to be like a well-oiled machine. And so I really like sort of the sense of camaraderie that comes from that. When we have a really good race, you know that it wasn't just you, it was everybody else around you.
If you like being on the water, contact a rowing club in Des Moines, Iowa City, Waterloo, the Quad Cities, or Omaha, and give the sport a try.
It's just a great way to start the day, rowing before work. The mist is rising off the river, the sun's coming up. It's a great feeling.
I like those afternoon rows when it's just kind of a beautiful Des Moines day.
And it's addictive. On a day like today, particularly, it's addictive.
It's great when the sun's coming up. It's getting a little cold, but I like that crisp fall feeling in the air. It's just nice to come here and spend time and just be able to relax and row.